Okay. So, this tutorial was requested by lovely Joe. I'm going to put her link in the description because you all should check her out. She's great. She's lovely. But, yeah, um, tracking and stuff. I'm going to show y'all how I did this crazy scene. Lovely tracking times. Cool. Okay. First of all, yeah, get your clip and whatnot. And, I've kind of went ahead and tracked it, but I'm just gonna go through like what to look out for in terms of tracking. I'm not really gonna go into like the actual how to since I've done stuff like that. I will put in description for the actual like tracking stuff, that stuff. But okay, so before we track, in terms of like what to look out for and what to track, I want to put somebody or like this is kind of like where my clip is going to be. So I want to make sure that I'm tracking as close as possible to where like the footage I'm replacing will be. And more importantly as well is the fact that I want to track on the same plane. And what that means is that you see how this kind of pops in and it's sort of moving at like a faster rate as the background. So make sure that you're not tracking on anything that's in like the foreground if you're trying to like change the background and vice versa. Like if I actually wanted like to put somebody on this thing, I wouldn't be tracking um, any background stuff. I would track the actual plane. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, and then the second thing I look for is just making sure that the thing I'm tracking stays in the frame for the whole time, or else that's not going to be a fun time. And I'm also looking to make sure that like nothing's going to obstruct the track. Like if this guy came over and like hid this thing, I wouldn't be using that thing to track. So just make sure to look out for that. And then when that's done, depending on what you're trying to track, this one was a position and scale. So when you do track motion, just make sure that you have position, or if you need rotation, put rotation on. If you need scale, put scale on. All that fun stuff. So when the track is all done, I'm going to make a null. So I'm going to go edit target, and usually, I think I've said this in other videos, but like when you're tracking, always put the tracking data on a null object just so that your actual footage you can still move around without fucking up the track. It's just what I like to do. And then I'm going to hit apply. So now all my tracking data is on the null. So when you have your track, from this point on, do not do any comping in your sort of like track area. Although this depends on what you're actually putting there and how intense your comping is going to be. So, like, if you were just going to put like a mask here or like, I don't know, like somebody flying in the background, like, it's cool to just do that here. But for in terms of like what I was doing with my Odette thingy, I wanted to get rid of the flower here and like again you can like repurpose this background to like be different like scenery. So if you're doing something like that, don't do all that comping stuff in like where your track is going to be. And I'll show you the easier way to do this. So if I duplicate my background layer, I can then mask out this thing. And then if I freeze frame the background, I'm just going to put toner to kind of show you what's going to happen. So right now this is freeze framed, and then if I pick whip to the null object, it's now going to track with the footage. And this is helpful because now if I pre-compose this, I'm going to move all attributes. And I still want the freeze frame like within the pre-comp. Like I don't want the pre-comp to be frozen. So from here, although the mask will be on the pre-comp. So now this is technically where I would do all my comping. So if I go in here, say I want to like completely change this background with a shape layer because I'm dumb. So now when you have your comp, oh, I forgot to pick whip it. Hold on. Yes, pick whip the actual comp. And now she's moving. So yeah, that's kind of how you do it in terms of like the comping stuff. In my version of it, like this is obviously going slow. So if you did want to like add like a time effect to it, this would be pre-comp your tracking stuff. So this would all go into a pre-comp. So this becomes like your main clip that you can just fuck around with too. And this is the easiest way to like do different kind of speed ramps and stuff. So actually I use time stretch and then I think I made it go slower. And then again, going back to like what I was doing in my comp, if you do like time stuff, so say like I actually just want to do like just make it a little bit faster overall. So let's do like 60 instead of that. Well, if you do that to the actual like pre-composed footage, Odette or like whatever your mask is going to also be sped up as well. But if you just want like the camera movement to be sped up without like your masks being doing that, all you gotta do is just to counteract that. You just go in here and then you just make this slower. So if I did like 50% faster, I'm just gonna come up here and be like, okay, then this one's like 50% slower, and that should even it out. So in theory, Odette is technically moving at normal speed, but the background is moving faster. And yeah, that's like the fast and easy way to do that kind of comping stuff.